are the pinnacle of perfection, and everybody around us should accommodate accordingly. Everybody should accommodate. And when they accommodate, thereby I say that I accept them. When they don't accommodate, I hate you. When children say it, they are saying it out of their innocence or out of their cluelessness, or both. Cluelessly innocent. Now, sometimes when they get agitated, I have heard kids, especially in this country, first time, even now when I hear it, I feel little disoriented with that statement. Mommy, I hate you. It's a very strong emotion. You cannot hate. And these kids are those who, even if I give them a green apple, I hate green apple. What did that green apple do to you to hate it? You don't want it, I understand. You don't like it, I understand. I hate it. किया क्या उसने बेचारे ने? So in the relation, when we know that we are not perfect, when I accept someone, the acceptance should be born out of the example that you're asking. The acceptance should be born from the idea that who I am dealing with is as good or as bad, as imperfect. But it is not just the good, but also the other aspect is also accepted completely. I accept my child when he is asleep. He is like an angel. When he wakes up, he is like a mini Rakshas. What to do? Genetic defect. You cannot say that. It is both. It's only in Hindi movies where they say, गुस्से में भी क्या खूबसूरत दिखती हो. When you are angry, you look so beautiful. Have you ever looked at yourself when you get angry? Yuck. Scary. There's no beauty in it. See, the acceptance should be in such a way that it envelops both aspects and then slowly grow towards. I cannot say I love you only because you have great teeth. Take. I love you because I have a good voice. What if something happened to voice? Stop loving? I love you because you have काले घने गुंगराले लंबे बाल, long hair. There are a lot of poets who are fascinated with long hair, right? तेरे what बालों की छाय में, like in the shadow of your, there's some poetic expression. Or if there is no hair, you'll stop loving. So that acceptance should be 100%. And born out of that foundation of love and respect, yielding that acceptance, removing the tolerance, then there is a bond of oneness as one unit. And it should not be as a strife as equality. There can never be equals. As a mother, what you do, a father cannot do. Equality kahan hai wahan pe? Mother has the sacred opportunity to give birth to another life form. Ask a father to be pregnant for 9 months. They should actually tie a weight and carry it for 9 months to understand the pain. They cannot be equals, but together we can become one unit. There is oneness that can be aspired. And once that oneness comes in, then together what can be accomplished, together what can be achieved, not just as a family, as a unit, but at a larger level. See, whenever I think of this particular point, my heart fills with immense gratitude, because all the volunteers, whether they are teachers, whether taking a front desk or the AV group or the background administrative group, all these volunteers, they dedicate about 36 continuous weeks. Many of them, Monday through Friday, they fly out on Monday, come back on Friday. By Sunday, they're ready. Almost half a day they're dedicating continuously. Now, for me, who has taken these robes, for me it is 24/7, it is my job, it is my profession, it is my life, it is my everything. If I do something other than it, it becomes questionable. Because I've chosen to dedicate on this path. But these people who have professional life, personal life, family, friends, and other things, in spite of that, they spend this much to come together to pool those resources so that the next generation can benefit. You see, the impact is staggering. Like 1,400 kids benefit. In that togetherness, when we come, we serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. So if we have to work together and bring that synergy in, working in a comprehensive manner, when will it be successful? It will be successful only when there is proper coordination, proper cooperation, and apt communication, without which the entire unit can fall apart. An army can be successful only when that cooperation, coordination, and the communication is clear. Aage बढ़! And you're like, सुना ही नहीं दिया. And they say, march forward. You look at them when they march, there's such unison in that. It has a rhythm, it has an energy to itself. And if they are wearing a coordinated color pattern, there's a white gloves and then a blue uniform and a blue cap, and then they move their heads. It's such unison, it's an amazing energy to see. It can happen when there is coordination, cooperation, and apt communication. Sometimes what happens when we mess up or we do something wrong, because we start with good intention, and always we hear people saying, but I intended meaningfully, I did not mean to harm, my intentions were clear, pure. Then where did it go? Where did it go wrong? Why did it get messed up? I don't know. It's the other person. Very easy to point fingers at the other person. Let me tell you this story of Mr. Raoji. Many of these who have been coming here, you may have heard this story. This Raoji was working in a small town. He was working in a post office. And he dedicated his life, 35 years he had worked, and he had reached the highest post available. Very loving, considerate man. Everybody in his office loved him. One day he retired. And all of his colleagues and people who worked for him pooled their money and got him something, as a parting gift. They got him a good piece of cloth. They said, Raoji, make yourself a good pajama kurta. A small town, that is still a great gift. The very next day he went to the tailor, gave his measurements, gave the cloth. After a week or so, got it picked up, came back home, tried it on. Kurta was a perfect fit, amazing. The pajama had a modern trend to it. The modern, these days people wear jeans. Half the jeans is on the street. that which should be covered is revealed. Their undergarment is revealed, and then they keep pulling it. ठीक से पहनो ना. And they have a belt on it also. Irony is they have a belt also. That's a fashion now. So Rauji's pajama was also very loose and it was hanging down. The legs were long, almost an inch or two that was long. So he went to his wife. He asked his wife, Aji sunti ho? Can you cut 1 inch? Fold it about ½ inch and hem it in. She said, every Sunday I go to Chinmaya mission. Can I do it later? He went to his daughter-in-law. He usually doesn't ask much. He don't trouble others. So the daughter-in-law said, this year I have joined. I have also become a teacher in Chinmaya mission. So I am preparing. I cannot. So I went to his daughter. She just graduated. She is in the college. I said, no, dad, couple of friends, we are going to this new movie, Everest. We want to go see it. So I can't. So Rauji said, how difficult can it be? Anyway, don't have much to do. So he took a measuring tape, brought out scissors, cut 1 inch, folded it in. However he could stitch it, he stitched it in. The daughter, her program, her movie going got cancelled. She said, poor dad, he asked me. So she came into the room, picked up the pajama, cut 1 inch, folded it ½ inch and hemmed it in. The wife, very thoughtful, wrapped up things at Chinmaya mission and reached home early because there's something to do. So she went into the room, got the pajama, cut 1 inch, folded ½ inch, and she did. The daughter-in-law, after feeding the kids and everything, after Balavihar, she found some time. She also went in, cut 1 inch, folded ½ inch. Now, Mr. Rauji, he came back to wear his sweet pajamas, and they were shorter than a short. Now, if you look at the effort, were they not very cooperative? Was their intention wrong? Did they mean ill? No. It was well intended, meaningful cooperation in that family. What was lacking? Communication and coordination was lacking. So what is the key for the family as a unit function as disciplined as an army? Communicate. Then coordinate with a cooperative heart. And the communication itself is such a vague thing these days. Sitting in the same house, sending text messages. Come down for food. Text message. Hey Ram. Remember when somebody said Hey Ram earlier? When he got shot. I felt as if somebody shot me now. Hey Ram. The same house, communicate. Put the nasty gadgets down. Talk to each other. There is absence of communication. And the other side of communication is trigger happy communication. Send an email in the morning. Within 2 hours, I sent you an email in the morning. What happened? After lunch, you come back, still not replied. What happened? Earlier, when you want to have an appointment, you would call and take the appointment. Now, send an email, so that you can take an appointment to call, so that you can take an appointment to come and meet. We are layering ourselves up. That which has to be a blessing is turning out to be a curse. It is not that the instrument or the gadget is wrong. The way we are using it. Communicate efficiently. That is when together we can contribute something amazing. Like as I said, getting together, what is the strength here in Bala Vihar? The volunteers, you all. Train, and then the next generation benefits. Imagine if all Hindu gathered together. See, whenever I say that we have now 1400 kids, many parents feel inspired and clap. But inside I'm twisting. It's a good number. I'm not saying I'm not happy with it. It's a good number. But in comparison with what? The recent statistics say that we have about 100,000 Hindu families in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I had gone to Frisco for some work. I was shocked. It was like a mini Tamil Nadu there. Not only that they were wearing lungi, the lungi also folded upside. We have so many. Of that 100,000 Hindu families, 1400, meaning 700 families, what percentage is it? Less than 1%. There's so much more to be achieved, so much more to reach out. Imagine if we can streamline all of our efforts, all of our resources, come together in that togetherness, that which we can contribute, that which we can give. Repair ourselves internally, and thus with that strength what we can give back. Couldn't it be amazing? That should be the purpose of religion, that should be the purpose of philosophy, that should be the purpose of unity. Not that when we say we stand as an army, ever ready to fight. No. Fight against what? Fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without. First within, then without. Let me ask you a very serious question. Gambhir Prashna. Is it really that difficult to live our life? Live as a human being? Think. Why does it seem like so difficult? With your response. Aiming for more comforts. The question was, how do we do that? We move away from simplicity.
The negative feelings actually overpower the positive side.
The negative side overpowers the positive side. Kauravas were in greater number than Pandavas. And there is that internal Kurukshetra war happening almost at every intersection of life. See, life living seems to be so much, with so much of effort, so much of energy and drain. Because at every intersection of life, every experience, we are expected to yield, bring out a choice. And whatever we choose, we are responsible for that choice. Emotional, intellectual, physical actions, at every point, there is, with every interaction, there is a choice, and we feel that responsibility of that choice. There are known parameters, there are unknown parameters. If there are known parameters, I know what to choose. Sometimes it is an unknown parameter, like raising a child. How strict should I be and how lenient should I be? How much is optimal? And this kid doesn't come like an electronic product, how to use me. Being born, they don't come with a manual. I wish though they came with a remote, like, Bal Vihar, mute. The best part, increase brightness, inside and outside. समझ में आया? नहीं, brightness increase करो. I wish they came with a manual. And the best part is, however you think was the optimal way of bringing them up, at one point of time or the other, we get to hear, I am like this because of you. Every generation says that to the earlier generation. Why just generation? Sometimes the kid born to us frustrates us so much that we end up saying, पता नहीं कहां से पैदा हो गया. Maybe by the second child. That's why I say the first child is always a experiment. The pacifier example. It falls. So looking at the reaction, you can tell whether it is the first child or the second child or the third child. First child, pick it up, boiling water, put it in, 30 seconds, pick it up, rinse it with cold water, plug it back in. Second child, gira, uthaya, plug it back in. Third child, stare at him. Pick it up. Am I somewhere on the ballpark figure? So we don't actually know whether the decisions that I'm taking, the right ones or the wrong ones, the pressure builds in. Not just that, but when adversities hit us, how we come through them, that impacts our life quite a bit. Not that the adversities that we go through are anything comparable to what Krishna went through or Rama went through or Pandavas went through. It is not even an iota of what they went through. Like Bhagwan Krishna, where was he born? In a prison. And nowadays a politician in India is caught and thrown in the prison. They say, अरे कौन कहता है कि मैं जेल जा रहा हूं? श्री कृष्ण जन्म स्थान ही तो जा रहा हूं. Do you know who was he trying to imitate? अरे अपना ललवा. He was born in a prison. Within an hour, he was away from his biological parents. In the environment of the adopted parents, was he safe? Was he really good? Right from the third month, he had a series of attempts on his life, assassination attempts, starting from Putana. No wonder why he turned out to be so mischievous. to deal with all the stress. Somewhere he had to break somebody's pot, steal somebody's butter. And when he was 9 years old, he had to leave his adopted parents as well. And in a psychological order, you would have put that as a traumatic childhood. And in the new environment, Mathura, that he went, right from the entrance, there was this mad elephant that was set on him, Kuvalaya. Got through, and then Chanur and Mushtika. Got through, and Kamsa. One after the other, one after the other. Did any one of your uncle try to kill you? Just asking. Did your cousins plot to kill you? You call the uncle as Kamsa. I know why the cops are called Mama in India. Because historically we have two mamas, painful mamas. Shakuni Mama and Kans Mama. Now the third one is Cop Mama. Did your cousins try to poison you? We don't go through such things. And sometimes I feel very intensely that every individual has to be thrown in an environment like Somalia or Darfur for at least 6 months. And for another 6 months to dodge and live amongst constant bullet firing. Tora Bora. And then 6 months of rigorous military training. And then release them back into their life. No, I said military training only. See, once I was in a gathering, which was a very august gathering. Gurudev's Yajna, it had to be inaugurated. M.S. Subbalakshmi ji was the inaugural song she was going to sing. R. Venkatraman, that's another story, sometimes I'll tell you. He was the chief guest, and there were movie stars and there were politicians. And a bunch of us, we were in the circle around Gurudev's, about 20,000-30,000 people attending that talk, just as a fence around him. And M.S. Subbalakshmi ji, by the time she was really old, and she was complaining, I have diabetes, my joints hurt, my this, my that. She was complaining. And Gurudev got up, caught her hands, and said, celebrate! So what? I'm talking of my pains and ailments and joints and aches. You say celebrate? Celebrate because only the one who is alive can afford to be sick. We forget the bottom line that yes, I am alive. Anything else happening, I can handle. Because many things in life we take it for granted and we do not value them for their worth. When adversities happen and you come through them, there are only two options. Either you can be bitter or you can be better. Adversities happen. How do you come out through those rough edges of life? Bitter or better? If we have to come out better, there has to be something pre-installed before even hitting into that adverse moment. That is where Gurudev says, fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without. Mercilessly uproot those false convictions, wrong notions, ideas, wrong values, and instill discipline, instill these values. As an argument, the child may say, or even we childishly may argue, what is the point of discipline? I'm sure you get this kind of a argument with the child. Make your bed before you do anything in the morning. And what is the argument that you get from them? The even smarter answer is, I have to anyway get into it and it gets ruined. Then why should I? Why do I have to do it? They are still in elementary school. Once you start getting this logic, understand they're in middle school. Because to see a point of leading a self-disciplined life seems a moot point, that there is nothing value in it. But this discipline, these values, when set in, when everything is going hunky-dory, may not find a value of it at that moment, but when adversities happen, it is this discipline, it is this value and trained system which makes you jump back on track faster than anybody else can. It is this discipline and value system which makes us get out of adversities better than what we were earlier. Otherwise, we are only our bitter self. Wherein a few adversities happen, and then we have everything and anything to blame on. I am like this because of parents. I am like this because of my childhood. I am like this because of my education. I am like this because we give umpteen reasons, constantly bitter. But the choice is ours. Whether I have to better myself or exist bitter. Isn't that our choice? And that should be the purpose of religion, which betters us, which removes, evaporates that bitterness from our heart. We'll continue the next paragraph next week. Oh, already time up. Yes. That was the look that I saw in a couple of faces. We still have about 6-7 minutes. If you have any questions with regards to what we have spoken. Otherwise, people ask all like random questions, and I'm like, I have not even spoken about that. Give me an opportunity to confuse you on that first. Then you can ask me questions. Out of syllabus questions are not entertained. Syllabus? Okay, ask.
We talked about acceptance in the beginning. So we notice when we look at our process, sometimes that acceptance comes from heart. It comes naturally, like mother giving the child. Child does good things, mother is happy. Child does bad things, mother is still happy. Everything accepted. So mother always thinks that okay, I'll pour
कुछ तो गड़बड़ है इक्वेशन में.
So there is this acceptance coming naturally, right?
I'll go along with you. I'll not.
So with somebody we love, that acceptance comes from heart and it's natural. Other places we go, like mostly, I'm just giving an example, workplace. We go, somebody does a good thing, we are happy. Somebody does a bad thing, we have to think, okay, good he said, we should accept. So let us accept. So that acceptance is coming from mind, not from heart. So there is a difference, right? We become more challenging.
So why do you stop yourself from accepting it from heart?
That's my question. How do we make it come from heart, not from mind?
Her question is, In a family structure with a child, or there is an acceptance, I can understand. But there are environments wherein the acceptance is not natural. I know I have to accept. It is more intellectual than the thing which comes from heart. How do I get that same acceptance from my heart in other environments as well? When we go into the other environments, I'll say first two-pronged answer. First, if that environment is owned by you, that job is owned by you, and you're responsible at that point. Say, most of the time when we go into such other environments, we don't take the ownership. हिंदी में कहते हैं अपनापन. We don't start off with that. It is on the dotted lines and it stays at dotted. We don't cross. We don't own it. That responsibility is not taken for it to be coming from heart. So your first step was the wrong step, that you started with not that acceptance and ownership. Therefore, the other things that happen along, you always are at a standpoint of what is in it for me. If it is not, and this is irritable. Like, but you take the ownership, the irritation is less. Okay, that is one. The second angle is, when we go into the environments, instead of acceptance, though we portray external acceptance, what we are actually doing is internal reactions. So externally we are portraying acceptance, but internally we are, external is Chandramukhi, internal is Jwalamukhi. Right? And that pressure is building up, and one fine day, if you are a mature one, it will blast open at that individual in that environment. If you are not mature enough, that built up pressure is usually eked out on the weakest link in your relationship. You come back, show your irritation on your spouse, on your child, on somebody who is weakest, and it is slammed on them, vomited on them. So what would be the next best method? It is not just the external mask that you wear, but from inside, do you accept? Even if you want to work on a solution and get a solution, it starts forth from acceptance. Then you can start working on a solution. Not on a revolt, not on a reactionary pattern. Externally, one has to accept, then there is a change. I hope I answered you, because both answers were very abstract. Internalize it. I'll clarify it next week if you still have questions. The best part, if you still remember. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.